your substitute teacher for today. Your teacher's left me some notes on what you're going to be learning today because you have a test on Thursday, I think, correct? Okay, so today I'm going to teach you about the Persian Empire. So you're going to learn about 3 of the rulers, the economy, politics, social hierarchy, and much more. So let's get started, shall we? Please turn to page 434 and we'll get started right away. So the first ruler we're going to learn about is Cyrus II, also known as Cyrus the Great. And he came into power and founded the Persian Empire in 550 BCE. Cyrus the Great defeated King Astyages of Media, and later he went on to defeat Medes and conquered Lydia in 539 BCE. And he took control of Western Asia Minor, and he also conquered Greek cities along the coast of Asia Minor. And he later defeats Babylon in 536 BCE. So class, does anyone know what Cyrus the Great was known for? What about you? Kid in the front? Tommy?
550 BCE.
Pay attention. What about you? Patricia?
Well, Cyrus the Great was known for his kindness rather than his cruelty. Well, in 533 BCE, he allowed the Hebrews, who were slaves in Babylon, to return to Jerusalem. He allowed them to rebuild the temple and their capital. He also created the Cyrus Cylinder, which was a document about human rights.
Good, you're absolutely right. Cyrus the Great died in battle in 529 BCE in Central Asia, and because of his lack of military training, he died. You know what his failure was? His failure was that he was too nice. He just let his enemies pass right through him. Right, class? He conquered a city-state or an area of land, and he would let the people that he conquered live there peacefully, and that later led to his demise. Now let's talk about Darius I, who started his rule in 521 BCE, and he ended his rule in 486 BCE. And he divided the empire into satrapies, and the leader of each satrapy was a satrap. And satraps are kind of like city-states. You can compare them to city-states. And under Darius' rule, many things changed. So he developed a common currency with gold and silver coins. And he created a 1,600-mile-long royal road, mainly for the royal couriers. He developed a secret service and created laws for the whole Persian Empire. So does anyone know any of the major building projects that Darius is working on? Yes, Patricia.
Well, there were 2 major projects, the construction of the royal buildings and the creation of a new dynastic center. Darius and his followers would decorate the buildings with carvings.
Very good, Patricia. Thanks. Now let's talk about Darius' failures. So historians believe that Darius has been involved in the assassination of King Bardia, although Darius denies his involvement in this. I mean, why would you admit to murder? So Darius died in 486 BCE while he was getting ready to attack Greece. And after this, we're going to move on to Xerxes, the next ruler. His father was Darius I, and Xerxes ruled from 486, Darius' death, to 465 BCE. And like his father, he continued his war with Greece, and he tried to gain control of it. And he failed in his first attempt. And so he put together an army of 180,000 men to invade Greece. And he defeated the Spartans in the Battle of Thermopylae. And after this, he led Greece and stopped the Babylonian rebellion, and Xerxes was thought of as arrogant and cruel, and in 465 BCE, he was murdered by a group of Persian nobles. So now let's move on to the social system of the Persian Empire. So there are 8 social classes, right? So there's the highest is the kings, then royal family, priest, aristocracy, traders, craftsmen, peasants, and slaves at the bottom. And once you're born into a class, it is very difficult to move up, just like in India. So let's move on to the role of women, okay? So does anyone know about this topic? Tell me, how about you?
550 BCE.
No, Tommy. You need to listen. Anybody else besides Patricia? No? Please? Okay, Patricia, go ahead.
Well, women were treated as equals in society. Both men and women had equal rights, and they both were able to obtain inheritance and become rulers. Women had freedom and were actually encouraged to participate in activities and have an education. It was much different than...
That's enough, Patricia, thank you. Moving on in religion. So the main religion in ancient Persia was Zoroastrianism, which was created by the prophet Zoroaster, who lived sometimes between 1200 and 1000 BCE. Okay, this was a monotheistic religion. And they believed in the god named Ahura Mazda. And so this religion was based off the idea that there was good and evil in the world, and you had to choose your side. You had to choose, are you going to be good or are you going to be evil? Okay? And these teachings were preserved in the Gathas, which are hymn books, in a holy book titled Avesta. And not only was this religion important to the Persians, but art and architecture was also important. So for the Persians, pottery was one of the forms. There was also many detailed works and remains found. In addition to pottery, Persians were also weavers. And dance was also a popular form of art for the Persians. So does anyone know about architecture in this time period? Not Patricia this time, Tommy.
Remains of palaces that have been discovered in present-day Iran. These palaces were built for royalty. There were a small number of sculptures created in Persia as well.
Well, next time try to relay the information from the top of your head, but at least we're paying attention. So next we're going to discuss the Persian economy, okay? So let's talk about the jobs available in ancient Persia. So there's soldiers, priests, landlords, merchants, and farmers, and slaves were forced to work as well, like they always are. So people were paid in wine and grains, and these primary crops were wheat, barley, and olives, and the domesticated animals were cattle, goats, and sheep. And another important part of Persian economy was fishing. Does anyone know what some of the main industries were in Persia at the time? Okay, Patricia.
Okay, thank you. The existing industries were tribute, agriculture, and trade. Land and sea trading was important in that time. Darius I established the Royal Road, and he was also made use of the Silk Road as well. The Persian government also relied on ports in the Persian Gulf to trade overseas. Darius also built a canal connecting trade routes from the Nile River to the Red Sea.
Okay, good, Patricia. So the primary export was wine, and the primary import was ceramics. Those are just two of them. There's so many others. There was a large number of traded goods in ancient Persia, and some of the countries that Persia traded with were
China, India, Greece!
Get out of my classroom, Patricia! I hate her. Anyway, so let's keep... Alright, class, that's it. Class is over, but it was great to meet you all, and see you soon, I